talking to my guy friend yesterday, and we were discussing this notion that a lot of girls don't want to build with guys, because really often you see guys who are broke build, and the girl will build with them, and then he gets successful and leaves her for like a younger 24-year-old. She invested and wasted so much time, and now she's older in the dating market, starting back at square one. At first, he didn't really see where I was coming from. His perspective was more like, well, if I don't build with a girl, then I'm not sure that she's going to be with me for anything other than my money when I'm successful. So let me try to explain the female psychology for girls who think like me. So I kind of have two pillars of thought when it comes to this. First pillar is that I feel like a lot of guys, when they're broke, they don't choose their dream woman. They pick the girl that fits their current lifestyle that they can, like, quote unquote afford. Then when they reach success, they finally have like this ginormous pool of girls who want them, and they kind of get their pick of the litter. Now they can go for their dream woman. And by the way, I don't think every guy's like this. I'm well aware that there's many guys that blew up with their girlfriend or whatever, and that is the person they stick with forever. I think this really comes down to the fact that it's a personality trait. Are you a cheater or not? Is it your character to cheat and seek novelty or not? I recognize that. So the other pillar of thought that I have when it comes to this is that I feel like the guys psychologically don't want the woman who watched him struggle. I think they want to, but I think the guys that are still starting at zero and are building, they don't like who they are. And so when he reaches that level of success, he's always going to tie that old version that he's trying to escape to that woman. I think there's a lot of guys out there that don't want to be seen. I think a lot of guys want to be seen for that post glow up self, want the woman who sees him as like this hero, who sees them as like this manly man. Not saying that a girl who builds won't see that. If anything, she actually might. She might respect him a lot for what he went through. But I think this has a lot to do with men's ego, and so many of these guys just don't want a woman that's seen that.
Is it really this complicated? Just asking you, the audience, as I'm reviewing this. Is it this complicated? Is it psychological, ego, going back and forth, seeing me in my glow up phase, all of this stuff? You're constantly ever evolving. Who you are yesteryear is going to be different than who you are next year, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter if you got money, if you don't got money. You're going to be different and evolve every single year. That's just the way that it goes. So I'm trying to figure out, what is this psychological thing? From my perspective, from a man's perspective, the guy was pretty much spot on. But let me add some additional context. I think that as a person that has had resources for an extended period of time now, it's better to be around people that you trust. It's not about a dream woman or anything like that. The dream woman is the woman that can actually raise your kids, that you're not fearful of taking half of your shit, right? And I'm coming from, I think, a little bit more of a mature person's perspective that's not caught up with the glitz and the glam, did the watches, got the cars, got the businesses and all of this stuff. And after you've settled for a while, and again, I think that it's probably good for me because I had it, lost it, and got it back again. The person that you can trust, even if y'all don't stay together, right? You are still tied to each other, and even if y'all don't stay together, it should be an amicable moving on, and that y'all just growing apart, and it wasn't because y'all beefing. I don't understand the whole you would rather talk to a chick that want to get with you because you got your money versus holding it down and still even being amicable and taking care of and being around and rocking out with and being best friends with the person that held you down from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? They have an equity stake in your success. And I'm not even talking about a financial perspective. That should have been the person that wanted to see you win. They shouldn't even have been with you because, they think that you're going to be successful. I want to see my friends win. I want to see, everybody win that's around me. And so I have a vested interest. I have an equity stake in seeing them win psychologically because I want people that I love around me to be great and to be successful. So this superficial lifestyle and this superficial mindset of, oh man, I don't want to build with a guy. I get it. I ain't tripping off the fact that you don't want to build with a guy. But I'm also adding in there the context that how can you be trusted? There's no way you can trust a woman that gets with you later on in life. And that's how a lot of guys get finessed and they get took for half of their stuff.
That side of them. Again, not every guy. I am totally aware of that. And so when you combine these two main reasons, for me, it's not about gold digging or finding a guy that's super successful. To me, this is risk management. I don't think that
It
most of us
absolutely
will be
is.
able to accurately assess.
Because she's not trying to talk to somebody that don't have resources. So it absolutely is. Don't think for 1 second that all of this word salad is supposed to be something that means something. It absolutely is. She is accurate on some stuff, but it matters. Money matters to certain women, unless you him, and then it don't really matter because they're gonna go with whatever it is that they feel because they don't have no rules for the dudes that they truly, truly want to be with. But
How
even
a
then, money matters.
person is going to change when he gets power and success. You know, a guy who's making 80K versus a guy who's making 800K, they don't have the same temptations, the same self-control battles, the same access to women. Their values might even change once they reach a certain level of success. There's not really a way to predict this. You can look at character, but people change a lot when they get.
The guy that's making 80K can absolutely knock down the same chick that the dude making 800K is making. So don't believe that shit either. Trust me, don't believe that.
Power and money. And I don't want to be blindsided. I want to date somebody who's at his finished, stable state, who's already experienced some of this temptation and experienced a level of success.
Want you at the
I
finish
also
line,
don't
big
want
dog.
somebody who's super, super successful, like very much at their peak of their career, because I think those guys also have a different psychology that I don't want to have to deal with. I'd rather meet somebody who's somewhat experienced success and is still building and working towards something. And I have no problem holding somebody down and like building with them there. But I need to.
Yeah, because he already successful. Of course you ain't got no problem holding him down because you already know the finished product. It's not a risk. This isn't risk management. This is calculated comeuppance. You know what I'm saying?
That they've already experienced a level of success where I know that they are kind of who they are at this point. And I need to know how they react and how they've behaved with all this new access that they have to women, to money, to power. I think at that point, a man's identity is a lot more solidified. So yeah, not looking to date for potential, not looking to take a gamble on who he might become. There's also the age factor. I'm 25. I don't want to build with somebody, then I've reached 30, he's reached success, and suddenly he's leaving me for the young 25-year-old, and I have to restart at square one, and I'm like.
People are very, very, very superficial. Very superficial, bro.
Older in the dating pool. So for these reasons, very quick summary, I will not be dating to build with somebody. Recently, I made a video talking about how I would not build with a man for a variety of well thought out reasons, which I will link below. And I got a lot of comments of the guys being like, well, if he's rich, why would he want you? If a man is rich, why would he want a marriage? Why would he want to settle with a girl? And this is in regards to like a girl coming in after a man has achieved a certain level of success. And they're trying to say like, well, what value do you bring if you weren't building with him? And here's what I got to say to that. First, let's start with this. A man who is rich already has resources. A man who is a provider already has resources. He's not looking for a woman to fulfill that part. He's not looking for a woman's resources himself. If you're asking from that point of view, financially, he doesn't need my finances. So now moving on to what I really think they're getting at. This is just their sneaky way of being like, well, what do you bring to the table? The question is, why would a rich man need a woman? I think a better question is, why does any man need a woman? Because we are wired for connection, for companionship. A rich man already has money, but what he's going to be looking for is peace, loyalty, companionship, feminine essence, stability in his home. And that aspect doesn't go away just because he has money. And if we're going to get into the science of it, data actually shows that high-earning men actually are more likely to be married and have longer-lasting marriages. Why is this the case? Because success doesn't make a man fear commitment. Successful men actually value legacy, stability, a family, and someone he trusts. Being rich doesn't erase his basic need for partnership. The only men who act like women are disposable are the emotionally immature, insecure ones. Rich men don't date women for their wallet. They date the women for things that money can't buy. And there's men that don't value this. There's men that don't value partnership. They don't value commitment. But that's who they were always going to be. But the data points to the fact that whether or not you understand it or believe it, successful, rich.
She's going to finesse somebody. She going to get somebody if she hasn't already got somebody. That's easy. Like, she got the mental aptitude that leads her to the right people. She got the look. She's skinny, fit. She definitely gonna finesse somebody out of their draws, 100%. And I don't know if, she gonna leave with a bunch of stuff, but I know that she definitely gonna find hers. Because she understand it. She know the talking points. She know the responses. She know what men want, all of this stuff. I'm gonna give her credit all the way 100%. She gonna definitely finesse somebody out of their draws. Let me know what y'all think out of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.